Family Law 1 in English, Hindu Marriage Act, Section 11 and 12 of Hindu Marriage Act. Nullity and annulment of marriage are void and voidable marriage. Dear student friends, you are aware that I am Dr. Rega Surya Rao, Principal Retired, Aided Law College, Maharashtra. Today I am going to take up the topic, fourth lecture from Family Law 1 in English, nullity and annulment of marriage. It is otherwise known as void marriage and void marriage respectively. Section 11 and 12 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 speak about nullity and annulment of marriage. Before going to take up this lecture, dear friends, let me take just 1 minute to pray God, pay homage to my reverend parents, late Rega Apparao and late Srimati Kantaratnam, and my beloved wife, Mrs. Tirumala Gauri, associate author of my academic assignments. Let me express my deep sense of gratitude to Godfathers, in particular to my student friends who are instrumental for what I am now. Last but least, let me express my gratitude and heartfelt thanks to the authors of textbooks and research papers and articles in internet, whose works I have made use for bringing out this lecture. Now, dear friends, nullity of marriage and annulment of marriage. The significance of marriage or importance of marriage can be explained in two ways. In one of the lectures regarding importance of marriage, Hindu marriage or any other marriage, in one way it is sacrament and sacrosanct, in other way it is civil contract. If the couples are committed to prosecute their journey from the date of marriage to till end of their life, that is till the death of either of the spouses or both the spouses, that marriage is sacrament and sacrosanct, sacrament and sacrosanct. Once marriage is marriage forever. In other way, in case of some couple, marriage is sacrament and sacrosanct. That is, it is an indissoluble union. It is one till from marriage to till death. They continue their journey in matrimonial home, sharing pleasures and pains. Secondly, eternal union, eternity, in the sense a man for one man, one wife, one woman, one husband, that is eternity. Thirdly, holiness, some taking 7 steps around burning fire, that is Homa and Saptapadi. By completing 7th step, the relationship between wife and husband gets tied, and the husband, bridegroom, takes oath, like in here Sanskrit mantras, Dharmesha, Tesha, Kamesha, Moshacharami, like this. So he promises, bridegroom promises bride to continue with her throughout the life, sharing pleasures and pains. If this is practicable in most of the couple, and however these three things, these three ideals are, in addition to that, Section 9 protects the matrimonial titles for Section 9 of the Hindu Marriage Act, which envisages restitution of conjugal rights, is backbone of a matrimonial tie that strengthens the matrimonial bond throughout the life. That is another thing. In that way, these ideals and goals are made available in case of some couple, then we say that the marriage is sacrament and sacrosanct. However, there are so many opportunities to couple, either wife or husband, to break down the matrimonial tie, dissolve the matrimonial tie. There are opportunities are there. Not only Hindu marriage, Hindu law, but also all religions. There is a provision to get wife and husband separated due to some personal problems and other disputes in matrimonial home. So like that they are section 10 to 13b of Hindu Marriage Act provide various provisions relating to dissolution of marriage. Section 10 makes provision for judicial separation, that is husband and wife get separated through court of law for 1 year to make a comparison whether separation is good or living together is good despite disputes. That is section 10. Section 11 provides for nullity of marriage. Section 12 provides for annulment of marriage. Section 13 provides for divorce. Section 13b provides for divorce by mutual consent. All these topics I will take up in due course, and today I wish to take up nullity and annulment of marriage. Nullity, this is otherwise known as nullity of marriage, means void marriage or invalid marriage. Annulment of marriage means voidable marriage. Nullity of marriage is that marriage, a marriage which is not as per law, which is not solemnized as per the conditions of essential conditions of marriage, so that marriage, no marriage in the eyes of law, if either a party in the event of any dispute approaches the court, the court will not recognize such marriage and will not accept the case for adjudication. If one disputing party approaches the court filing the petition, that petition will not be entertained or accepted by the court for adjudication or trial in the very outset. But even if accepts for trial or adjudication on the proof that the marriage lags behind criteria of valid marriage, the court will declare that marriage void or null and void. So such marriage is called void marriage or invalid marriage. So voidable marriage is that marriage, and a marriage which is declared at the which is declared as void marriage at the option of one of the party, that is the petitioner, who was subjected to fraud or other problem which we are going to discuss. So like this, in Contract Act, you all studied about contract, valid contract, void contract and voidable contract. Valid contract is that contract which is valid as per section 10 of Contract Act, namely offer, valid offer and acceptance under 2A, 2B, valid consideration under 2D, capacity under section 11 and 12, capacity under section 11 and 12, lawful object under section 13, and free consent under section 14. Provided all the conditions are satisfied, that contract is valid contract. If these conditions are satisfied, if any one of these conditions is absent, that contract is not a valid contract. That is called void contract. Valid contract means contract which is good. If either of the party breaches the contract, the other party, that is aggrieved party, can approach court for enforcement. So if the contract contains all essential elements, then only it is valid contract. If one party breaches or fails his obligation, he can approach the court for enforcement. So that is why a contract which contains a contract which contains the conditions under section 10 of the section 10 of the Indian Contract Act can be enforceable under section 2H. Similarly, how there is a valid contract, the condition, if valid conditions are there, it is valid contract. If any condition is absent, that contract is a void contract, invalid, it is not enforceable. If sometimes, if any contract, the contract must be entered into by free consent of the parties. If there is no any free consent, what is free consent I will tell you. In contract lecture I explained in detail. If the consent of one party is obtained by fraud or misrepresentation, if either of the party is unable to give consent due to mental abnormality or mental disease or incidents of mental abnormality due to some reason or other, then that contract is a voidable contract. Voidable contract. Similarly, how there is a valid contract, void contract and voidable contract, in law, marriage also is basically a contract. Basically a contract means an agreement, and how an agreement is entered into between two parties under contract. The marriage, by solemnizing the marriage, some rights and obligations are created by spouses. So my wife has some rights and duties towards husband. Husband will have rights and duties towards wife. So that is how the rights and duties exist in a contract. Similarly, in a valid marriage also, rights and duties exist. Void contract, void marriage, rights and duties do not exist. In voidable contract, there is some problem. If the problem is existed, that marriage is that voidable marriage will become valid marriage. If that problem is not adjusted, cannot be adjusted, the aggrieved party wants to repudiate the marriage, that marriage will be voidable marriage. So void contract or void marriage is 100% invalid. Valid marriage or valid contract is 100% valid. Voidable contract or voidable marriage is not 50% valid, 50% invalid. If the aggrieved party wants to avoid, it is void contract or void marriage. If a aggrieved party do not adjust, do not challenge, it becomes valid. So voidable in the sense either it will be valid or invalid. If the aggrieved party does not repudiate, it is valid. If the aggrieved party tries to repudiate the contract through court of law, it will be void marriage. So like that, how void marriage, void contract and valid contracts are there. There is void marriage and voidable marriages are there. So this void marriage is also known as nullity of marriage. Section 11 of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 speaks about void marriage or nullity of marriage. Section 12 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 speaks about annulment of marriage or voidable marriage. Now we first discuss about void marriage or nullity of marriage. Nullity of marriage or void marriage. Section 11. Section 11 of the Hindu Marriage Act deals with void marriage or nullity of marriage. Nullity means that marriage is invalid. It is no marriage in the eyes of law. It is no marriage in the eyes of law. This marriage is it is of no use. It is as if it has not been performed in the eyes of law. So the parties may live together, but the law will not recognize them as husband and wife. Husband and wife. That is void marriage. Now, Section 11 of Hindu Marriage Act deals with void marriage. So, if valid marriage means a Hindu marriage is said to be valid marriage if the conditions under Section 5 of the Hindu Marriage Act are satisfied. But there are 5 conditions under section 5, but 2 conditions are one condition pertains to voidable marriage, one condition is not taken very seriously, but 3 conditions. So in Hindu Marriage Act contains 5 conditions. For condition number 1, 5 clause 1, monogamy, 5 clause 2, valid consent, free consent, 5 clause 3, age restriction, age limit, 5 clause 4, degrees of prohibited relationship, 5 clause 5, subinda relationship. So out of this, age is not taken into consideration very seriously as per the discussion of the court. Clause 2 relates to voidable marriage, but any marriage solemnized, any Hindu marriage which is solemnized contrary or in contravention to section 5 clause 1 or section 5 clause 4 or section 5 clause 5 of Hindu Marriage Act, that marriage is void marriage or invalid marriage, that marriage has no value in the eyes of law. Suppose if a marriage is solemnized, that is 5.1 speaks about monogamy. When a man or woman wants to get married, he or she should not have any spouse living. If a man wants to marry, he doesn't have any, he is unmarried, or if married, he lost his wife, or he must have been divorced. He took divorce. That is one thing. So if similarly woman wants to marry, either she is unmarried, or she is a widow, or she is divorced, then only legally divorced. Then so one woman has one husband, one man has one wife. That is monogamy. If already, so basically both must be Hindus. That is the general condition. First condition is, if a Hindu marriage is to be valid according to section 5 clause 1, the first condition is monogamy. If monogamy is the first condition. If already a man already having wife or woman already having husband, again attempts to get married, if anything, if it is challenged, they are guilty of bigamy under section 17 of Hindu Marriage Act, and also they are punishable under section 494 of the Indian Penal Code, punishable up to 7 years. First condition is monogamy. Fourth condition. Second condition pertains to valid voidable marriage, that is valid consent. Third one is relating to age. Age is 21 years, 18 years for girl is necessary, but in the case age limit is outweighed, the courts are not taking it very serious. That is why that condition is not considered here. Next one, first one, 5.1 is monogamy. Second one is 5.4, section 5 clause 4. According to section 5 clause 4, degrees of prohibited relationship. Degrees of prohibited relationship means, according to section 5.4, the marriage between certain relationships is void, because we people, we follow dharma, we follow morals, we follow so many things. So that is why in this we are in civilized society, we are human beings, we are not animals. So that is why a marriage between mother and son, marriage between father and daughter, marriage between brother and sister, we being human beings, civilized people, do not resort to such things unless so if anybody would like to do it, they are put down to the level of lower animals, because lower animals do not have a distinction of relationship. So if anybody violates the degrees of prohibited relationship, but nearer is okay. In remote relationships are there within the degrees of prohibited relationship. There is to getting married to sister's daughter, getting married to paternal aunt's daughter, getting married to maternal uncle daughters. They are in a remote. If custom permits, if it is whatever religion it may be, Hindu custom, Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, Sikh, all come within the meaning of Hindus. If they in their custom, if any particular relationship, marriage can take place, then the custom savage is there. If custom makes provision for getting married, such relations, that marriage will be valid. Otherwise, marriage between certain relationship is void according to section 5 clause 1 of the Hindu Marriage Act. Next, section 5 clause 5, that is sapinda relationship. Sapinda means same blood relationship. Same blood relationship. That is some cousin. One sapinda, A and B are cousins. A and B are sapindas means A becomes cousin to B or B becomes cousin to C. So getting married to cousin sister, getting married to cousin brother, cousin brother or cousin sister means father brother's child or mother's sister's child will become cousin. Okay, become child. So that is they become that sapinda relationship is there. So sapinda relationship, I told you in a concept of putra, for 3 degrees in ascending order, 3 degrees in descending order, father, son, son, father, grandfather, great grandfather, son, grandson, great grandson. So these are the sapindas. Whoever dies first, the other can offer pinda. If father dies first, son or grandson can offer pinda. If son or grandson dies first, father or grandson can offer pinda. They are called sapindas. They are entitled to pindas. So one male relation and others female relation should not get married. So this is the fifth. If any custom savage is there, if between certain relations, then it is outweighed by the court. So like this, void marriage or nullity of marriage is one. If any marriage solemnized contravening in violation of section 5 clause 1 monogamy or section 5 clause 4 of degrees of prohibited relationship or section 5 clause 5 of sapinda relationships, that marriage is declared void. That marriage is declared void or invalid. This is what is called nullity of marriage. So nullity, the word nullity means an act or thing which is legally not valid. In other words, it is worthless and is of no use, and is of no importance. This is nullity of marriage. This is what is called nullity of marriage. And next thing is the consequences of. So if any marriage takes place solemnized violating section 5.1 or 5.4 or 5.5 of Hindu Marriage Act, that marriage is declared as null and void. If any dispute takes place, either husband or wife approaches the court for maintenance or other relief. If under Hindu Marriage Act section 25-26, husband can go or wife can go. But if they go, if it is found that the marriage is basically not valid marriage, then the petition will not be entertained. If it is accepted for trial, if it is proved that there is no valid marriage, if other respondents prove that the marriage is not valid marriage, then the case will be dismissed. So the consequences of void marriage are, there is no marriage at all. Void marriage is that marriage, it is of no value in the eyes of law. The parties do not have any marital status. It is just like unlawful cohabitation between a man and woman. However, the children that were born by void marriage are legitimate children, legally bona fide children, according to section 16 of the Hindu Marriage Act. But because the parents may be defective in establishing their relationship, but the children that were born should not be put to the difficulty of inheritance rights or anything. That is why those children are legitimate children only. They are not considered illegitimate. So the wife can be declared illegitimate if she claims maintenance. The maintenance cannot be awarded. The word wife in the sense legally wedded wife. If that marriage is found bad, found void, if a woman approaches the court for maintenance against husband, that amount the case will not be entertained. The case will not be entertained. So here, what are the consequences? So number one, void marriage is no marriage in the eyes of law. The couple do not have any marital status. They are not at all husband and wife. Secondly, the children that were born out of void marriage, they are legitimate children. Next one is no mutual rights. In marriage, valid marriage only, husband and wife will have rights and duties. But if the marriage basically void, invalid, they do not have any rights and duties. If they have rights and duties in the sense, if they get separated, the wife can file a petition against husband for maintenance. Husband can, under 2 grounds, 3 grounds. And husband can file a petition against wife under 1 ground, Hindu Marriage Act. These things I explained in previous classes. This is the position with reference to void marriage. Next one is there is a relevant case on the point. Ramvati Gupta versus state of UP. In this case, the petitioner wife filed a case against husband for maintenance under section 25 of the Hindu Marriage Act. But it was found that the marriage took place between these. Marriage was declared void. So when the marriage itself is a void marriage, the wife is not a legally wedded wife. When once she is not a legally wedded wife, she cannot file a case against husband for maintenance under section 125. That is the judgment given by the Allahabad High Court in the year 1984. Similarly, there are so many cases. Next topic for discussion is voidable marriage. Voidable marriage or annulment of marriage. Annulment of marriage or voidable marriage. Section 12 of the Hindu Marriage Act speaks about annulment of marriage or voidable marriage. Annulment of marriage or voidable marriage. Void marriage is 100% invalid. Valid marriage is 100% valid. But annulment of marriage or voidable marriage doesn't mean that 50% valid, 50% invalid. So, in this, there are certain circumstances in a marriage is solemnized, but some problems take place, some defects take place. Suppose we people in generally speak that we may speak 100 lies and one can speak 100 lies to get a marriage solemnized, but it is not correct. If that lie is of such a serious nature that affects the career of either of the spouses, that marriage cannot be valid marriage. That marriage can be repudiated by the aggrieved party. So one may speak 100 lies to get a marriage solemnized, but those lies are simple lies. Those lies do not have any serious impact on the career of either of the spouse. That may be negligible, but if the lie is of great impact on the career of one of the spouses, that aggrieved spouse can challenge the marriage. So there are certain things. Section 12 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 speaks about annulment of marriage. Annulment of marriage. Annulment is a process, and annulment is a legal process by which a marriage is declared invalid. Marriage is declared invalid. Voidable marriage is one which can be avoided by filing a petition in the court of competent jurisdiction by any one of the on any one of the following grounds. Suppose either husband or wife can file a petition for cancellation of marriage on 4 grounds. Number one, Section 12(1)(a), according to Section 12(1)(a), impotency. Impotency in the sense, see, one of the objects of marriage is conjugal relationship. Dharma sampatti, praja sampatti, rati sukham, and sexual pleasure is also one of the most important objects or purposes of marriage. So there are certain cases when the marriage, when the time of marriage discussion, the people do not mind about the whether girl is potent or boy is potent. They don't examine the potentiality of boy or girl. Here, this potentiality refers to both spouses, husband and wife. In some cases, husband is impotent. In some cases, wife is impotent. There are so many cases, because the husband is unable to meet with her wife, or her wife also is unable to meet with the husband conjugally. When one husband comes, she runs away. Our wife tries to avoid husband, and husband tries to avoid due to some biological defect, in the private organs. So there are various cases on this point. So this is why when the impotency is there, then husband can challenge that my wife is impotent, she is unfit for sexual intercourse. He can file a petition. Or husband, wife and wife also can file a case against husband that my husband is impotent, he is unfit for conjugal life. She can file. If it is proved that, the court will give decree, and declare the marriage void or invalid. Suppose the husband impotency on husband or impotency on wife is detected, but they think that the sexual life is not primary in our human life, but my wife is very good woman, or my husband is very good man, is a great man, my wife is a great doctor, my husband is a great doctor, he is a man of great public service. If I leave this husband or wife, even if I marry anybody will be very less. Nobody can stand before him in status. He is a man of public contribution. Like that. So this potential impotency is negligible when compared to his great service, great personality. I can adjust this spouse, man or woman, keeps quiet. That marriage can be, if impotency is challenged, I want my husband or my wife is impotent, I don't want him, I want to cancel the marriage. If they go to court, then the court will declare the marriage void, invalid. Suppose, okay, what is there in sexual life? There, he is a great man, she is a great woman, she is a very good woman, except that she is doing a lot of service, except that he is doing a lot of love and affection. If they adjust it, then the marriage, the impotence can be outweighed. They not go. And section 20, according to 12(1)(a), impotency. On the ground of impotency, sexual incompetency, either husband or wife can challenge to cancel the marriage. If they can adjust, this marriage will be valid marriage. Second one is section 11(1)(b). Section 11(1)(b), valid consent. So, see, if the marriage is solemnized contrary or in contravention to section 5 clause 2 of Hindu Marriage Act, clause 2, section 5 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955. So, one of the most essential conditions for a valid marriage, Hindu marriage, is consent or free consent. So consent means when two parties agree to same thing in same sense, that is called consent. So consent. Suppose A says that I want to offer my son to your daughter for marriage. So then A's son, B's daughter should give consent for marriage. Okay, that is called consent. So the consent should be free, but A's son, B's daughter wholeheartedly, sincerely, should like each other and get ready for marriage. Suppose he is my friend, but the girl doesn't like in movies. So this heroine loves hero, but heroine's father is big minister. He wants to get married his daughter to some very rich man, some big businessman or another minister or chief minister's son, like that. But like this, so that is but father forces daughter, because you must marry him, because if you marry him I will become home minister, tomorrow I can become chief minister, like that. These things are there. So consent means when two parties agree to same thing and same sign, that is called consent under section 13 of the Hindu Marriage Act. The consent is said to be free if it is not given by flaws in consent, coercion, undue influence, mistake, fraud, all these things, coercion, undue influence, fraud, all these things in Contracts Act I told you. So suppose daughter agrees to at father's pressure, or boy agrees to marry that girl due to some pressure, either some force or fraud also. Sometimes fraud also may be played. Here, first thing, according to section 5 clause 2, first condition is impotency. Second condition for nullity of marriage, valid consent is not there. Valid consent means for at the time of marriage, the boy or girl must be able to give valid consent. To valid consent means according to section 12 of Indian Contract Act, the person must be sane. So we have sound mind. The person should be of sound mind. So that is first condition. With sound mind only, that a person having sound mind only alone can give valid consent, either boy or girl. That is first condition. Or even though the boy or girl sound condition, able to give valid condition, but suffering from some mental disease, due to any disease, or due to excessive alcoholism, or due to excessive drugging, or any due to some reason or other, mental abnormality, some mental disorder or mental disease, unable to give consent for marriage, unable to procreate children, suppose it is a girl, unable to give consent for marriage due to mental disease. That is thinking. Thirdly, that boy or girl gets insanity, recurrent mental disorder. So section 5.2, there are three clauses. Unable to give consent, number one, or able to give consent but suffering from mental disease, or now and then sane, but now and then becomes insane. These are the three conditions. That is, first is impotency, second is unable to give valid consent, That is the. So impotency, nothing doing, no problem, it is valid marriage. So impotency very serious, go to court, void marriage. Suppose these consents, the consent, they should go to court within 1 year only. They should, suppose the consent is absent, 5.2, free consent is not there, but free consent is there, but mental disease is there, or free consent he or she can give, but now and then becomes insane. All these things are there. They know that. But in spite of that, if the respondent, if the petitioner wants to challenge within 1 year of the marriage only, they should challenge. Within 1 year of the marriage only, they should challenge. Suppose even the 1 year of the marriage only should challenge. Even for impotency also, within 1 year of the marriage only challenge. After 1 year of the marriage, they go to court, that petition is not accepted. That is one thing. Next, first condition, impotency. Second condition, free consent is over. Third problem is section 12 clause C, consent of a petitioner by fraud, undue influence. By fraud or undue influence. For example, A and B get married. In one case, that man by applying a color and like this. That is some aged man, 50-year-old man appeared like some 35 years less or 10 to 15 years less than that. That man is having major children. They suppressed. But I am not married, I am a bachelor, like that he said. But he has a wife died or something. He has major children. Majors means above 18-year-old children are there. But he said and got the married. It is a fraud. Similarly, any fraud is played. In one case, the bridegroom's age is more above abnormal. But less age is, they said my age is very less. But still, that is also amounts to fraud. The girl can repudiate the marriage. So, if they want to cancel the marriage, petition can be accepted, but the petition must be filed within 1 year of the fraud played. Within 1 year of the consent detected, fraud detected, this thing. So, if at all any problem, any grievance relating to matrimonial unhappiness, matrimonial problem, within 1 year of the marriage only, the aggrieved party should go to court. If the aggrieved party goes to court after 1 year, the petition is not accepted. You are silent all these days, you are sleeping, but if you know your marriage took place 1 year back, you are adjusting with impotency, you are adjusting with invalid consent, you are adjusting with fraud, means you can go, but within 1 year only it should be done. Fourth one is pregnancy at the time of marriage. Pregnancy at the time of marriage. This refers to woman only. First three conditions refer to boy and girl, wife and husband, both the parties, man and woman. But fourth condition is pregnancy at the time of woman. It refers to woman only. Husband alone can challenge. But my marriage took place on so and so date. See, within by the time of marriage she was pregnant, not with me, somebody other than the husband. So the pregnancy he can challenge. So my wife is unchaste. At the time of marriage she is pregnant. So I don't want this wife. He can file a petition and can repudiate. Then the court, if the petition is filed within 1 year, but he should, all these facts, when he wants to file a case, they must have ignorant of the facts. They do not have knowledge about the facts. Suppose if the pregnant, even after that, even after knowing the pregnancy, he meets with his wife. When he wants to challenge that she is pregnant, he should not have consensual sexual intercourse with that woman. That is most important. He is ignorant of that fact. He should file the petition within 1 year. Suppose if he doesn't file petition 1 year and he meets with the wife in spite of knowing the fact, with her consent, a consummation between husband and wife took place, and then the petition cannot be filed. So here, for cancellation of voidable marriage or annulment of marriage is that marriage which can be avoided or repudiated or cancelled at the option of one party by filing a petition in appropriate court. One who wants to cancel the marriage, there are 4 conditions. Number 1 is impotency. Number 2, valid consent, either due to insanity or due to mental disease or due to incidents of insanity from time to time. That is second condition. Third condition is consent obtained by fraud. Consent obtained by fraud, misrepresentation, undue influence, etc. That is third condition. Fourth one is pregnancy at the time of marriage. If or any one of these grounds, if marriage is solemnized, the party fraud, then things, sometimes what happens is fraud. Elder girl is beautiful. Elder girl is not beautiful. Younger girl is beautiful. At the time of showing the girl, they showed the younger girl who is beautiful. At the time of marriage, they arranged only elder girl who is not beautiful. In the marriage arrangements, her face is clothed with flowers, like in some North Indian marriages. So when on the marriage dais, the husband cannot, bridegroom cannot see the face of the bride. So he tied the knot and marriage is completed. But when he enters to nuptial room, the flowers are removed, then he could identify. At that time, another girl was shown, but at the marriage, another girl got me married, and it is very cheating, fraud. He comes out of the nuptial room and cries. Then the elders say, dear son-in-law, don't worry, but though she is elder girl, younger girl was shown and elder girl got married to you, but elder girl is a very nice girl, wonderful girl. She loves you, she gives you wonderful service. Younger girl is not that much good girl. She is only, your earnings will go for his makeup and her parties and everything. But this is, they try to convince it. If the groom is convinced, he can accept her, that fraud. Suppose, no, I don't want this good girl, I want that beautiful girl, I want her. Then he challenges, then the marriage can be cancelled. So that is annulled. The marriage can be annulled or declared voidable. So these are the conditions under which a marriage can be declared void. So there is one case in the Sundarlal Soni versus Namita Jain. So in this case, fraud was played. So here that bridegroom had majors, 18-year-old children. That material fact was suppressed. What is the material fact? Material fact means, suppose somebody wants to take insurance, life insurance. When question is asked, are you healthy? The answer should be healthy. Suppose he has some cancer or kidney problem, that fact is not disclosed. That is the material fact. To get admission, entrance marks is there. Entrance is material fact. To get a degree as qualification, that is material fact. Like that. Material fact means for the successful performance of particular activity, certain condition precedent should be there. Some requisite is there. With the condition which is prerequisite for a particular thing, that is called material fact. So like this. In another case, there is another case, bride's age was suppressed, and then the marriage can be avoided. The relevant case on this point is Babui Panmate versus Ram Agya Singh. Patna High Court gave judgment in 1968. Suppose there are some cases, the boy is even 40 years and above, they will make some manage something. They say that the boy is 25 years, below 30 years. Subsequently, the girl is around 18 years. Subsequently, the marriage is performed. Subsequently, it is detected that he is that much old. He is that much 40 years old, above 40 years old. If they want to challenge this marriage, it can be cancelled. The girl can challenge. If they adjust it, the marriage can be valid. So, valid marriage is valid, 100% valid, like valid contract. Void marriage is 100% invalid, like void contract. Like void marriage or nullity of marriage, both are same. Voidable marriage or annulment of marriage, both are same. So, voidable or annulment of marriage is a marriage which can be annulled, which can be declared void, which can be abolished, which can be declared no marriage in the eyes of law, which can be established that no marriage has been taken place. They could not be considered as, the couple cannot be considered as was wife and husband for all practical purposes. They don't get any rights out of marriage. That is voidable marriage. So this is the position with reference to void marriage and voidable marriage. Dear friends, this is firstly in importance of marriage. I told two things. Marriage is sacrament and sacrosanct in one way, civil contract in another way. Sacrament, sacrosanct, some couple, it is sacrament and sacrosanct because after marriage till the end of their life they continue their journey. In some people, after some time they try to, there may some matrimonial problems may take place. They cannot withstand with the matrimonial problems. They will try to avoid the marriage. So section 10 to 13b provide so many provisions to get separated. So when the parties to marriage, that is couple, want to get separated, so it is like a contract. It is like a contract. When the parties never like to get separated and want to continue their matrimonial journey from date of marriage to date of death, that is sacrament and sacrosanct. So some people refer to this sacrament. In some couple, marriage is sacrament and sacrosanct. In case of some couple, it is a civil contract. If the couple, either of the party wants to go for separation, dissolution of marriage, it is this. So nine is the backbone of matrimonial tie. It is in favor of sacrament and sacrosanct. 10 judicial separation is for 1 year. 11 and 12, 11 void marriage. To marriage is declared as a void marriage or invalid marriage. 12 is the annulment of marriage as voidable marriage. And next 13, 10, 13, 13b, 3 topics, 1 lecture I will take up, and like that. Thereafter I will take up jurisprudence. I will continue jurisprudence. I will continue. So when dear friends, please follow my lectures very carefully. I am taking collecting requirements. Don't neglect. Particularly, I suggest the students in today. There is a competition is more. So many national law schools, private institutions are there. The students are working hard. They are very brilliant. Unless you work, the students in centers of legal education, where there are no sufficient number of teachers, where the classes do not take place regularly, in such cases, unless the students work hard, you won't be able to stand in courts, because those stand in courts, you cannot become. If you want to become judge, you want to become High Court judge, Supreme Court judge, you must work hard, you must learn the subject very well. Otherwise, no, you will not be able to come up. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. Thanks a lot.